Morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hopefully you and your family are doing as well as you can be in these unusual times. We're going to bring you a little bit of cheer today by talking a little TBC and RealWorks and comparing them for scanning workflows. All right, the agenda today, if you're new to TBC and Trimble RealWorks or TRW, you'll find that we love to use abbreviations here. TBC, I'm maybe a little biased, rolls off the tongue a little bit better. Refer to TBC as Trimble Business Center, RealWorks, TRW, same thing. Talk a little bit about an overview. We've got a couple of seasoned experts on the line that will walk us through some comparisons. I'll be your host, Joe Blecka. I'm involved with TBC and RealWorks on the marketing side. And our experts will really give us some nice detail on the following topics. And then if there's time or when there's time, we'll be able to do some questions and answers. So if you've got anything throughout the session, please feel free to type them into the chat window, and we'll do our best to get to them live. If we don't get to them live, we do have your email and your questions saved, and we will reach out to you afterwards. All right, so TBC, Trimble Business Center. We're positioning that as the complete survey and construction office software, enabling field to finish workflows with confidence. That's a nice little elevator pitch. What does that mean? This slide should provide clarity or not. But where we're positioning TBC is as at the center of the surveyor's world here. Mixed fleet, mixed sensors is oftentimes a reality and oftentimes the most efficient way to get your task done. We want TBC to be your single office software to handle all of those things, everything from kind of the quote traditional sensor types, your GNSS, your total stations. I don't know if SX10 can be called traditional quite yet, but it's been around for a couple of years and has been a real game changer for a lot of us out there. As well as maybe new to surveyors, definitely not new technologies, but new or newer to surveyors, scanning technology, terrestrial, mobile, aerial, all sorts of things like that. Oh, I got cute with the animations there, sorry. And Trimble RealWorks, also a office software, dedicated processing software that turns point cloud data into answers. What that can practically look like is some really world-class registration tools, modeling tools from the point cloud, being able to do inspection maps, cloud to mesh inspections or cloud to cloud inspections, being able to do some office survey, feature coding, CAD line work, topo work, as well as specialty applications. That screenshot there at the bottom shows really a unique tank inspection workflow that our expert will talk about here throughout. All right, so what are common scanning applications? I think we have 11 to discuss here. And without much further ado, we have two professionals here, Surveyor Ray and Scanner Jason, who has just come from his GQ photo shoot. They will be taking us through and adding their color commentary throughout these different sessions. Ray and Jason, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure, I can start. Hello, everyone. My name is Ray. I have been a surveyor for quite a few years now, and like the text says here, I'm a Trimble loyalist, and we usually have a mixed fleet. We run total station type of survey. We run GNSS survey, and recently scanning becomes the next buzzword for our crew, and we start to see more and more projects using the scanning technology inside of it. But most of the time, our biggest interest is how we can integrate all these multi-sensor data into one place and let them align with each other. Jason?
Yep, and so I'm the scanner guy, I'm Jason. And although I started out as a surveyor, once you go to scanning, you're then known as the scanner guy. So really focusing on anything that really needs these high resolution surveys where you've got a lot of points to cover a lot of area where you're needing to model something very quickly that may be complicated, more than just a feature code or some line work, but getting in and creating complex surfaces, doing inspection, checking buildings, looking for flatness of the floors, verticality of the walls, and as Joe showed in the earlier slide, doing also storage tank inspection and checking for any kind of deformations in there and kind of outdoor applications.
All right. Thanks for being with us, Ray and Jason. We look forward to hearing from you throughout our topics. Topic number one, if you're interested in doing topo surveys and starting to investigate or use point clouds integrated with your survey data, got a couple of points here. I should note that this presentation, as well as kind of a bonus, I'll wait to the end to announce, is going to be available as well as this recording after the fact. So if you are a furious note taker, don't worry about capturing all of this. You will have the slides at your disposal afterwards. You'll get a notification on that. So we'll go through this as best as we can and give you the resources on this recording for your consumption later. All right, if you're doing topo surveys and creating some CAD deliverables, your integration with survey data, the stronger package to use there would be Trimble Business Center. Why we make that conclusion is that the most recent editions of TBC have really embraced scaling point clouds during the import, just how your survey data is scaled. So this would allow your survey data to match up exactly with your scan data and vice versa. So the survey data is treated as a within a local or a known projection. That scan data would be treated the same way. We're hoping to have a pretty expansive white paper out by this time. It's in the final draft stages, but check our space here and online for a really expansive white paper that some of the team has put together regarding scale factors, survey data, point cloud data. Being able to convert scans to CAD points and turn those CAD points into, survey points or stakeout points in the field. Trimble Business Center allows you to do that. And then being able to create topo surfaces and contours. Both RealWorks and TBC would be good for your money there. In addition to 2.5D triangulated topographical surfaces, that's a mouthful, TBC and RealWorks can create a projected or radial surface relative to a user-defined plane. So you can kind of go vertical or like Jason was going to talk about and we showed earlier, that tank inspection, you're right, you can unfold that, that tank using a cylindrical plane. Ray, Jason, did I do this topic justice? Anything to add?
I think you're doing a great job. Yeah, as a surveyor, what I also like about using TBC for topo type of surveys is that I can easily have multi-sensor data all in one place and also make sure they are sitting in a real-world projection. Like here in one of the screenshots, I will be able to see all my optical observations together with my point cloud as well as some georeferenced panorama images. That's all.
All right. If you'd like to learn more, you'll kind of sense a pattern here with this presentation. After each one of the slides, we have a resources slides as well with hot links to the various resources available that are appropriate to the topic. So here's the resources from RealWorks and TBC on the topic of topo surveys with survey data. All right, topic number 2, georeferencing and registration for production scanning. This is the type of scanning where you're out all day, you're doing tens or potentially hundreds of setups on a job. whether that be inside or outside. So for georeferencing, both applications can georeference a point cloud to a set of ground control points. TBC allows multiple views, so it's easier to zoom into the control points, and it helps when navigating the point cloud. It helps when the point cloud, is far away from a real-world coordinate. The registration methods. This is where Trimble RealWorks really shines. Really robust set of tools, both target-based and non-target based, so plane-based or pairwise, point cloud to cloud, point to point, however you want to call that. The RealWorks is you'd want to use I guess the debate over targets versus not targets is still thriving. You can have Jason talk a little bit more about that and his approaches there after I talk about the target auto detection. RealWorks features a really nice routine to automatically detect and find either spherical or black and white checkerboard flat targets. Anything to add there, Jason or Ray?
I would just say on the RealWorks side, as Joe mentioned, RealWorks has been around for quite a while and been dedicated to point clouds. So every time, some tricky situation came up where it was difficult to register, we took it and implemented something into RealWorks. So it's got a number of tools, and it's got a ton of automation, but bad things do happen sometimes. People move targets or various other things. And there's a ton of tools inside of RealWorks to kind of help save you on those really tough projects. And like Joe said, where it really shines is these big projects where you've got hundreds of scans in a day or thousands of scans in a project to go through and automatically find all those targets for you.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Excuse me, more resources on georeferencing and registration here from TBC and RealWorks. All right, next topic, CAD, feature extraction, and drafting. So on the Trimble Business Center side, it's been an area of focus that's still under rapid development, I can tell you that, to add feature extraction routines to be able to turn your point cloud data into information, whether that's point feature extraction or linear feature extraction. You'll see a lot in TBC today and a lot more coming in the future. So today, TBC allows for automatic tree and pole and sign extraction. Just recently released version 5.30 added an automatic pole and sign extraction routine. This is really handy because it can save you a lot of time picking out attributes. We can find things like the tree trunk diameter or the canopy diameter, the drip line diameter, or the 3D position of the center of the pole on the ground, or the pole diameter, for example. Feature coding, both products support that. Very powerful auto drafting tool there, as well as basic CAD line work creation. Something there in bold is the CAD command line from Trimble Business Center that was just released in that latest version 5.30. This allows you, as a little screenshot there shows, to leverage industry standard keyboard shortcuts for drafting operations, really making drafting super efficient in TBC, getting your line work done as quicker than ever before with the CAD command line. Ray, Jason, anything to add there?
I can add a few sentences. As a surveyor with a mixed fleet, I really like how I can do production CAD drawing or creation in TBC. Most of the times, not only we are interested in the geometry of those features, but we're also very interested in the attributes. Just like Joe said, we want to know the diameter, the spread, or the type of these features. Then I can quickly do those things inside of TBC. But if I'm mainly interested in the geometry and I really want to get things done in that way, then RealWorks is still a very handy tool.
Sounds good to me.
I love the screenshot there. I actually collected that with the black background there. That's Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado, just outside of Trimble's offices here. And this was collected before with a TX8 before TBC even started to support the TX8. And then you throw the point cloud into, or the data either in the raw format or an exported, industry standard format into TBC, and the point cloud classification, and you see those little purple glyphs. That was a new word I learned throughout this. That works on any data format you get into TBC. So really nice for mixed fleet, whether it says Trimble on the box or not. The data will be supported in TBC, and a lot of RealWorks tools as well are multi-formatted, supported as well. All right, resources. CAD workflow learning guide from RealWorks, as well as our TBC resources PDF presentation talking about feature extraction and drafting. All right, CAD modeling. This is where the difference between modeling and drafting. RealWorks really shines here in terms of geometry fitting and 3D modeling. So RealWorks offers automatic fitting tools to quickly create a 3D or 2D geometry from the selected point cloud. Fitting types include spheres, cylinders, great for pipes there, that lower right screenshot with the green piping. You can change the diameters like is shown there. And then 3D modeling as well. So RealWorks allows for basic or complex geometries, such as the semi-automatic extraction of cylinders, pipes, and steel beams. So, once you start crossing over into that HVAC world, kind of step in your both feet indoors with your scanner, and the indoor elements. RealWorks is particularly strong there. Speaking of strong 3D CAD modeling programs, our integrations and geometry interoperabilities to SketchUp both exist within Trimble RealWorks and Trimble Business Center. RealWorks has this really cool feature where you can sync geometries to an open SketchUp project in real time, which can be really nice to navigate and further your drafting or your model building. Not to say that there's a winner or loser for any of these topics, but RealWorks was definitely stronger in this space. Would you agree, Surveyor Ray and Scanner Jason?
I concur.
Yeah.
All right, anything else to add?
I think that's it. Yeah, we have, you can model just about anything you would like inside of RealWorks. We have all the primitive shapes and a number of tools for editing those. Some tools, not all tools, have libraries. So such as the steel beam modeling tool allows you to select from different libraries to choose the proper shape for the objects that you want to model. And some of the automated tools for cylinder extraction really speed things up.
I agree. And also, one thing I want to add is this screenshot that you can see is apparently coming from the Sight Vision product. One thing I want to add here is maybe TBC is not that powerful as RealWorks yet today to modeling all these things. But once you have the model done or geometry done, TBC offers very many ways to export these geometry or shapes into different products, such as Sight Vision, such as SketchUp, such as I don't know, Clarity, Trimble Clarity.
Great. Thank you, experts. Resources here on CAD modeling as shown. Okay, next topic, inspections, the 2.5D workflow. We went back and forth when we were trying to put this presentation together because the definition of a surface versus a mesh are different depending on your kind of frame of reference, I would say. And so what I call 2.5D, or what Surveyor Ray calls 2.5D, is what a surveyor would most likely think of as a surface, you know, where you take a picture of cloth and you drape it over an object and then it falls down with gravity. You know, there is a third dimension there, but you can't have the Z positions, you know, stacked on top of each other. You know, topo surfaces, great example for that. So inspections in that kind of realm, so volume computations, really, really critical for earthwork operations, getting paid to move dirt and materials around. Both RealWorks and TBC offer some really nice tools. TBC offers precise volume computations that involve the surfaces, and then the reporting out of TBC is particularly strong, being able to create custom Microsoft Word based reports that you can format however you want to. If you know Word, you can format it, throw in your company logos or icons or whatever you want there, and it has a live link to your data in TBC, which is super nice to make a you know, professional custom report. Topo surface editing. TBC allows users to merge surfaces, create grids, elevation grids, create intersection geometry, apply some materials and properties there, and then cut fill maps. Both RealWorks and TBC allow for the creation of cut fill maps. The TBC supports surface-to-surface inspection. RealWorks supports inspections involving point clouds, models, and meshes. We'll talk a little bit about meshes here in a second. Did I miss anything here, experts?
I would like to add one more point about the volume calculation in TBC. One thing I really like is not only TBC will calculate a overall volume for all the surfaces I created, such as stockpiles or depression type of surfaces, but also for each of these surfaces, I am able to create subgrade layers and manage all the materials for these subgrade layers. So when I'm calculating the volume, I can even take consideration of all the material shrinkage or bulkage ratio and get a better or more precise estimate on my project scope.
Great, thank you, Ray. Resources here for 2.5D inspections. All right, now let's move into the full 3D world here with 3D scan to design inspections. This again is where RealWorks has some really nice features and strong suits where you can do object inspection, cloud to surface inspection, and then supporting true 3D meshes there. You can see in the upper right corner a mesh model of that statue. Jason, do you know where that statue is? I'm sorry if I'm showing my ignorance here. Do you have any background on that?
Actually, the front of the HMS Surprise ship was used in the movie Master and Commander. So it's
Okay, cool. Thank you. The inspection routines, RealWorks can compare objects in both 2D and 3D. The objects can be surfaces, meshes, point clouds, or complex geometries. This can be particularly useful for comparing changes. You know, when you're talking about design, you know, you've got a design model and you've scanned it and you want to compare it to the point cloud, you know, an as-built, a reflection of what was built in the field. Taking this a step further, similar to the 2.5D, but now in full 3D, RealWorks allows users to create an inspection map between a cloud and a surface to see the differences. There you see some of those heat maps. Particularly useful, we'll talk about tunneling specifically later, but for tunneling as well, they're shown in that lower right screenshot where you're taking the design and comparing it to the cloud. And then RealWorks treats meshes and surfaces almost as the same thing, but RealWorks allows where TBC can do the edits on the 2.5D surfaces, RealWorks can do the edits on the full 3D meshes. So being able to create and edit mesh surfaces. by using both projection and non-projection based methods, like the unfolding of a cylinder, to get a tank, pick up a tank, or using a vertical plane to use as the basis for your projection to pick up some vertical features, really getting that full 3D dimension. Anything else there to add, experts?
Yeah, just on RealWorks, so we do the inspection maps. That's where you get the projection between the two surfaces. But also there's the 3D, specifically called the 3D inspection tool, which will allow you to go and take pretty complex shapes, such as a building, for example. Maybe you've got a design model, and then you want to compare it to the as-built point cloud, and then you can set tolerances on the colors you want to use. I think down in the lower left, you can see an example of setting a color bar to see where there's deviation. So you could set one range as one color, another range as a different color, then to go in and highlight and see where things are off and how much they're off.
Great, thank you, Jason. That's the slide, here we go. Some further resources to learn more about 3D inspections in Trimble RealWorks. All right, next topic, floor flatness. Particularly a structural application where, again, I said if you've got both your feet inside the building and you're looking to pick up structural workflows or structural deliverables, RealWorks will usually shine better than TBC. It's no different in the floor flatness routine. RealWorks allows users to inspect the flatness or levelness of the floor and create reports according to the ASTM E1155, my favorite standard, which is, Jason, as far as I know, it is an industry standard. It's the industry standard, correct?
Well, it depends on where you live, but for kind of US-based people, it's a popular standard. We actually use a couple of tools within RealWorks. There's one just for doing an analysis on the tools or the floor, and then another one for creating this ASTM report. The funny thing about most standards is they're written for other instruments other than laser scanners. They could be written for tank or tapes or total stations. So that's kind of the funny thing you'll notice is a recurring theme in RealWorks. We'll make one tool to really analyze something and see everything, taking full advantage of the point cloud. And then we'll generally create another tool to create a report in some standard that people are used to seeing, although the other way will actually show you more of what's going on and help you figure out what's wrong and how to fix it.
Yeah, and guys, and everybody on the call, if you don't know yet, we've kind of set up this gag. I wanted to see who could hold character the longest. Ray would definitely hold character longer than Jason, but we're all part of the development team. So Jason's been product manager for RealWorks for years, and so nobody knows RealWorks better than Jason. And Ray, probably has the most experience and current knowledge in TBC. She does a lot of the trainings and educational materials, other webinars. So when we say experts, we have the two definitive authorities here. So it's really nice as I hack my way through trying to explain floor flatness to have Jason here explain, the little bit more details than what the slides say. So thank you for joining. Thanks for the explanation, Jason.
I blew it. I broke my cover.
You kept saying we. You kept saying we. That's what did it. And I was like, let's see how long this will last. But no, thank you very much.
Well, hey, Joe, I just have one thing to add here.
Sure.
We didn't cover it in the previous slides, but since we're talking about the indoor environment on this one, another thing I really like about RealWorks, again, I expose myself as well. I like about RealWorks is it can classify point clouds in indoor environments into floor, into walls, and into ceilings, which TBC is more powerful in outdoor environment to classify things into natural objects such as trees or poles and signs.
Yes.
Yeah, that's That's a good
Go ahead.
point. There's actually a floor extraction tool in RealWorks, and it's a little bit more discriminating, I guess, than the ground extraction. So when you're trying to get rid of, maybe cables or some rubbish that may be sitting on the floor when you do your scan, it's a lot more efficient at removing those than just using the ground extraction. Both really popular tools, but make sure you get the right one.
Yeah, and we've already had some questions on, taking probably users that have used both or is familiar with one or the other. We said, hey, if you've got both feet inside doing kind of structural or building applications, RealWorks would have a tendency to shine greater. Certain tools and hardware and trends in the industry, well, we see more and more surveyors coming inside, and their tool has been Trimble Business Center. And so we're getting asked in this webinar and outside to bring some of those interior tools, the classification routines that Ray and Jason are talking about, into TBC, and we're evaluating those strategically to say, hey, surveyors are using this equipment, they want to mesh their indoor and outdoor environments together into their single projects. So that is being considered and being developed as well. So I'd say stay tuned there. All right, pattern here for Flatness resources. There you go. Again, this presentation will be available. Those links are live, and you'll be able to click there and investigate and learn a little bit more about these topics. A personal interesting topic for me is in the tunneling. We've created a tunneling module, from scratch in TBC, and RealWorks has had some really powerful inspection. Again, the cloud to mesh and cloud to cloud inspection tools that apply for tunnels, just like any other cylindrical object or object already for a while. But both RealWorks and TBC support tunneling workflows. Both applications allow users to create alignments, define the tunnel shapes or templates as they're known in the roading world, and create design and as-built meshes, and generate comparisons between tunnels to a design. The difference for the time being right now is those cloud-to-cloud inspection maps. And then on the TBC side, offering a step further to take that information back into the field, into Trimble Access, being able to create stakeout points for use in Trimble Access, and creating tunneling plan sets, or again, there's a custom as-built report there on the tunneling side. We are actively developing new functionality here on the TBC side, and so it really depends on what your applications are. If you're more of a surveyor looking to kind of do some staking and reporting in on your tunnel, then I would say maybe look at TBC. If you're familiar with RealWorks, RealWorks has some very powerful tunneling tools as well.
Yeah, I think where you're going to see TBC being a real benefit is that coordinate system and scaling capabilities that it's got, as well as the integrator of all these different types of sensors. Would probably give TBC a good edge there, but like you said, a number of inspection tools in RealWorks, so kind of two different worlds there.
Yep. Tunneling resources, there's these here, as well as a shameless plug for the May TBC Power Hour coming up at the end of the month. We'll get the TBC team together to review some of the revised and updated tunneling functionality added in the latest release of TBC version 5.3. That is the last Wednesday of the month, the 27th, May 27th, 2020. So look for some communication on that. I don't think the email announcements have gone out there yet. So shameless plug. All right, aerial photogrammetry. So aerial photogrammetry is supported in Trimble Business Center in kind of a two-faceted way. So if you're using a UAV with support on the provider side. Oftentimes the finishing software or the completion software to finish the mission that will allow you to export a Trimble JXL format, such as some of the SenseFly drones, the EB drones. We've got interoperability with Delaire's UX11 fixed wing, as well as recent support for Wingtra drones as well in the Wingtra 1 system. There's some others in active development as well, so stay tuned there. That's all supported directly in TBC. So it's simple drag and drop operation. Do your processing, create your orthomosaic image, create your point cloud, create a raster DSM, register to it to ground control points, GCPs, or not. Of course, as surveyors, we want you to be as, want you to get as tight as possible. So GCP is strongly recommended. Won't go off on too much of a tangent there. But another unique thing about Trimble Business Center and support for aerial photogrammetry workflows is the included UAS master package. So UAS master will support all third-party non-JXL or based UAV data, and that is included in your aerial photogrammetry license and ships with TBC. So it's already something you've got if you've installed TBC. And then you can send data back and forth. So you can import your ground control points, set your coordinate system in TBC, send that off to serve as the basis for your UAS master project, do your adjustments, and there's some really powerful and customized tools in UAS master for advanced aerial photogrammetry processing. Create your deliverables and then kick them back into TBC, and then we play that integration game again, with your survey data all in one platform in TBC. Ray, anything to add there?
I think you summarized the capability of TBC very well here. Maybe just the one thing to clarify, just in case some of the attendees are not very familiar with the aerial photogrammetry module of TBC today. To me, the major difference here is when you import UAV data into TBC environment, they are pictures. So TBC will be able to generate ortho images as well as point cloud on top of those aerial images for you. Once you get the point cloud generated, then the point cloud is a point cloud. You can choose to continue the processing in TBC, or in this stage, you are able to export it into Trimble RealWorks or any other third-party point cloud processing software as well. But the beauty is TBC will prepare your data set for you.
And that's a good point. So really, a point cloud is a point cloud. So no matter where you're getting it, you can bring it into RealWorks or TBC to enjoy the benefits of the CAD lines or the inspection tools in either of them. So it's really surprising how many people are using getting point clouds from UAVs today for inspecting or doing their land surveying.
Great. Thank you, experts. Here is the resources available to you for TBC aerial photogrammetry. All right, tank inspections. So this is industrial size or industrial applications tank inspections. Particularly useful in today's environment where we've got all of this oil and gas to store, but no consumers to buy it. So the storage rates have gone way up, something that the TBC and RealWorks team, particularly more so the RealWorks team, have been paying attention to. So what RealWorks allows you to do is to set up, measure, inspect, and calibrate vertical or horizontal tanks. The software can also create industry standard reports. Jason, you probably can speak a little bit stronger to the industry standard reports than I can. But what would you like to add here on the tank inspection workflows in Trimble RealWorks?
Yep. So Trimble RealWorks has been doing tank inspection for a long time. In addition, doing volume calibration and even secondary containment. You can see an example in the picture in the lower right. If that tank was to leak, where all of the product would flow, where the low points are in those containments, and these are built to follow the ASTM standards, again, as closely as possible. None of them are written specific for laser scanners today, but we follow where we can, total station workflows in this spirit as much as we can. As another plug, on May 26th, we will be having an in-depth webinar on Trimble storage tank solutions. So good time to tune in and learn all about the solutions then.
Great. Thank you, Jason. There's some resources for tank inspection to follow up on if you want to know more. All right, I believe this is the last topic, which is nice. We've got some time to be able to answer some questions. Video animation. Ooh, we got to reformat this. The video creator is possible. Video creation is possible. Kind of fly-throughs or walkthroughs, however you want to call it, to save and create in Trimble RealWorks. So you'd be able to create fly-through video animations using objects within the project, such as point clouds, inspection maps, geometry models, all within RealWorks. And then what you can, Jason, you can export those out in standard media format.
Yep, basic export formats. It'll use codecs that are on your computer. And yeah, it's just a great way for people to demonstrate the point cloud, either for marketing purposes or for analysis for stakeholders in a project. If you look on YouTube a lot and you see these nice fly-throughs, this is how you can go through and create those. So it's a really nice tool for both productivity and marketing as well.
Yeah, and I know on the TBC side, we've done some investigations as well into adding similar functionality. There is a way to do 3D drive views through your project that's an alignment or line string based, but there's no way, and you can set design speed to experience what it would be like to drive along the road. There's just no way to export that out at this given time, but you can run in TBC. All right, video animation resources here. Great video here from one of our providers, our partners, Seiler in the Midwest. So great video creation there for forensics. Also want to give, so the three of us have put this webinar together. Sudam Fernando has been an intern with us for almost a year. He did a lot of the prep work and legwork for this as well. So thank you, Sudam, for helping out with this and everything else you've done for both these products. All right, we actually have some time, which if you've attended